questions.
Okay. Well, I'll get started. First and foremost, it's a tremendous opportunity for us to be chosen to play in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. And I'll tell you, for us, it's just such a great opportunity for our program to represent our city, to represent our great university and all of our alumni across the country on a national television audience, and also have an opportunity to do it in the great city of Boise and their great fans. And so I know we're extremely excited as we kind of look and started the game plan for this football game and this football opponent. You look at Utah State, and you see them first and foremost offensively. You see a very balanced attack on offense, and really led by their quarterback, Chucky Keaton. And Chucky does a great job. He's extremely athletic. He's a young man that has the ability to hurt you, especially running the football, but he's got that innate ability to make those throws across the board, and a young man that's really one of probably the premier quarterbacks across the country. And then on defense, they statistically are really ranked in the top 20 in darn near every defensive statistic, and they do a great job defensively. I think one of the first things that comes off when you watch the film is just how well they're coached. Extremely well coached, really do a lot of different things, but yet have the ability to stay simple, and their kids know where to align and assign at all times. So they present certainly a great challenge to us on offense, and then special teams wise, really fundamentally sound. But we know it's a great opponent. I think that's what really makes this game so exciting, not only for our university and our football team, but the opportunity to go play the 18th ranked team in the country and have a chance to, again, find out where our football program is as we continue to climb to get to those ranks. With that said, I'll certainly open up to you guys for questions.
How much did last year's experience help you personally for this?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess, for me, I just told somebody today, it's my 5th bowl game that I've been a part of. I've been part of 5 national championship games, so really my 10th postseason game for that matter. And, I think all of those are really, I think they're similar. It's all about, really getting your kids to the game and preparing the details of a football game this late in the season. And it's a little different, but certainly I'll take some of the resources and some of the experience that I had, I guess, being the head coach last year as we prepared for that game. But, it's a new challenge being a little bit earlier this year and all those kind of great things. But I know we look forward to it, and I know I'm excited about the opportunity.
How do you balance the recruiting period right now with sort of the quick turnaround and you guys playing on the 15th?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, that's probably the biggest challenge, that we've had, and I think more of a program challenge than it is directly impactful on our kids right now. And so, for us, we were really fortunate. I think we've really got such a great jump start in recruiting. We're in a situation where we feel really confident about where we are in this class and feel really good about this class. That if we hadn't done so well early on, I'd say I'd be a little nervous about it. But I think we're really excited about the young men that have decided to come to the University of Toledo at this point. And we'll do a great job balancing it a little bit. But we're able to have a recruiting weekend last weekend and be able to be on the road sporadically this week as we kind of put together our game plans and get ready to leave on Monday.
With the way Austin Denton kind of finished out the season with Akron, are we back to possibly having 2 quarterbacks, or is Terrence Owens the starter in the bowl game?
Well, I think, we'll find out a lot more where Terrence's health is, more than anything. He's certainly not 100% right now. He's still continuing to get himself back to full strength. And like I said, before, and even quite honestly going into the Akron game, we've got great faith in Austin Denton, and I think it's a situation where we'll have to see, and I think that's the one thing that we've done a great job of here the last 3 years is we've always given our football program and our football team the best chance to win a football game with our quarterback situation. And so we'll continue to do that. We'll evaluate both of them, and I expect them both to play in the football game.
A lot of coaches like to use bowl practices to work on their younger players.
Yeah.
Do you have that opportunity because of the quick turnaround? Do you do it this week? Obviously, next week you start preparing.
I'll tell you where we were fortunate, Ryan, is I kind of had an idea that there was a chance we could play on the 15th. So we really, last week and last weekend, we really attacked practice. And a lot of that was because we had played, I think, earlier before Thanksgiving. I just felt like it was really important to get our guys back on the practice field, and really our young guys back on the practice field. And so we were able to get 4 or 5 really good practices last week. And of course, it's that 15 number that you got to really be, around as you prepare for the bowl game. So I think we're going to be right at that. So we'll have gotten the allotted amount of practices that we were allowed to have. And now I look back on it, I'm glad we did what we did last week. We also practiced yesterday, and we'll practice. We'll be off today, and then we'll practice the rest of the way through. Sunday probably being an off day, and then getting ready to fly out there, of course, as a travel day on Monday. So, we're our biggest battle, probably more than anything, is just exams and making sure we give our kids academically the opportunity to have equal success in the classroom to what they're doing on the football field. And really proud of our academic people here, and really our kids so far. They've done a great job kind of handling final exams, maybe having to take them a day or two early, and preparing for this bowl game.
So in these practices that you've had, you've been feeding reps to younger guys?
We really have. Again, I think that's something that, fortunately, being a part of that, even at the Division III level in Mount Union, just how valuable those days are to your program and to the youth of your football program. And so we've been able to, we take it as a chance where maybe we can get a couple guys. Last year was so valuable, guys like Cassius McDowell, having the opportunity to play him at running back. That kind of started there last year in the bowl season. The opportunity to just move some guys around, maybe put them in a different position to give them a chance, or the best chance to play as we head into spring practice. Because I think, as we know now, you're only about 2 months away from starting spring practice, and that period's so valuable, and we really try to do a great job evaluating the roster, know where our guys are, and put them in the best position for them to have a chance to be successful.
What young guys have impressed you so far? Can you give us a little sneak peek?
Yeah, I'm really impressed. Chaz Whitaker is a name that I'll tell you right now that has stood out in these bowl practices. A freshman that has played on special teams. He's backed up Jermaine most of the season at safety. A young man out of Pittsburgh, really impressive. Damian Jones more offensively. The young running back, really both those guys probably, if it wasn't for who was in front of them, would have probably had a more significant role this season playing. But those are probably the two names that I would tell you just maybe early on in the first 8-9 practices have really been impressive and had a chance to just show how hard they've worked. So we're excited about those guys.
From a game standpoint, is the quick turnaround, it's really not even a quick turnaround in regards to how the season works.
Yeah.
Is that good, or is it,
I think either way, I think you'd be asking me if we played on the 28th or we played later on that, hey, how about this layoff, how's it affect you? And so, for us, we had two plans. We had a plan if we would play after Christmas sometime, which was certainly a possibility, or the plan of if we would play the 15th. And we really feel like, we know what our kids are at, we know where they're at. And I think the biggest thing for me was let's get the best opponent possible, and that certainly landed in our laps. And I'm really excited about that opportunity because I think Utah State, what their program's done, instantly caught our kids' attention when we had the opportunity to be selected in this game.
How excited are the seniors that their career is not over?
Well, I think they're really excited. I think, again, when you go back to it and you talk to what are our program goals, who are we, one of our program goals is to get to a bowl game. And, this senior class, you think about it, for those guys that have been here the last 4 years, this will be their third bowl game in a row, and a third bowl game in a different place, and another great experience. And then for this senior class, they have a chance to win 10 games, which hasn't happened here since 2001. And so you look about all the things that this team and this senior class has accomplished this year. They got a lot to be proud of, and that chance to do it on national television against the 18th ranked team in the country is pretty impressive, and it's something they'll certainly remember for a lifetime.
You're playing the 18th ranked team in the country. Your rivals in the Orange Bowl, and then Kirk Herbstreit pretty much trashes on national television. As a former player, the D3 level, as a coach, what's the difference between the MAC competing against the bigger conferences? It seems like you guys were able to knock them off this year.
Yeah, and that's, I think all those things, and we've been recruiting and we've been out, so I didn't hear all of it, but I heard enough of it to hear the ramifications of those guys and their selection in the Orange Bowl. And I think, that stuff all makes great. That's why people pick up the paper and read it, and that's why people turn on the television to watch it, because they want to hear that debate or that reaction. But I think when you really break it down and you look at it, and you look at the game, and you look, let's just take our conference, and you look maybe the top 4 teams right now in our conference, and you look at the overall product, the Northern Illinois and what they did, Kent State and what they did, what we were able to accomplish non-conference wise, and then Ball State and what they were able to accomplish. I think you look at that and you put it together, and you see that Northern Illinois is the one that ends up on top this year, and they win those critical games at the end of the year and have a chance. I think they deserve the opportunity to go play and show what they can do. I think that's how Utah and Boise State and TCU, those places out west, were able to build and kind of create themselves the same way I think some of our programs in our conference are starting to do so as well. So, I think it's one of those things that I think our conference has got a lot to prove as bowl season comes and goes, but I think every one of us are probably really excited about the opportunity to show what our conference is all about.
Much like at Toledo last year, they did not name an interim coach. They just hired the offensive coordinator right away. Do you know him? Obviously, he's had some success, and how does that change, if at all, the dynamic between rivalry between you and them?
Well, first and foremost, from a coaching standpoint, I don't really know him. I've got respect for what they've done offensively. They certainly had great success this year, and I think statistically we're darn near the top of every one of them. But, does it change the rivalry? In no way. I don't think so. I think it's the culture of the programs, both here and there right now, that I think both are playing at an extremely high level, and both of them know that how important that game is when both of them get together. So, that'll be something as we continue on for next year, how important that football game will be as it comes and goes here the next couple of years.
You touched on it a little while ago, but Utah State's quarterback, what do you do on defense to maybe slow him down? And do you maybe use some of the same elements that you use against maybe Legault or Lynch from some of the other running QBs you faced?
Well, I think you have to. I think you evaluate him and you see what he does, and he's kind of got, I think, the intangibles maybe of all those guys. Of the young man from Cincinnati, he's got the speed and maybe the direct line ability to it's one cut, and if you miss a tackle, he's going to go score a touchdown, just like they had the ability to do at Cincinnati. He's kind of got the toughness of what Jordan Lynch has had at Northern Illinois, and I think he's got the ability to throw the ball with a lot of accuracy. And so I think all those things combined, we're going to have to do a great job of trying to find out what and how we can limit his ability to have the most impact on the football game. Of course, he's going to get his yards, he's going to do his thing, but we got to make sure we take away those big play opportunities, and I think that'll be the thing that's most important.
From a historical standpoint, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Mike. From a historical standpoint, having a MAC team and a BCS bowl, having 7 MAC teams total, how important is this bowl season for this conference, and from a historical standpoint, do you think?
Yeah, I think that the fact that we've got 7 teams in right now, and what the byproduct of who all of our teams were throughout the regular season is a byproduct in itself. I think the fact that you get a team from our conference that gets a BCS bowl bid is a tremendous opportunity and shows where we are as a conference right now. And I really don't see our program taking a step back. I see it when you look at the kind of the landscape of what's coming and who's coming back and where these programs are right now. You see the programs just continuing to get better and better. And I know it's something that's exciting about the brand of football that we play, the brand of football that this conference is starting to be known for across the country. And so I think at the end of the day, everybody in our conference is going to want to go and represent that. And I'm sure that the programs are doing their work and their due diligence to do that right now.
Do you think the football's a little bit more solid because it's more of a solid conference than with other conferences having people leave and come in?
I don't know how much that has to do with anything other than the fact that I think what's interesting about the landscape of college football, all over college football right now, is the parity that's out there. And I think that's across the board, and I still think there's some elite teams out there in college football that are playing maybe at a very elite level, but I think from top to bottom, I think that's what makes this game so special right now and really exciting to watch is any given Saturday, anything can happen. And I think we've seen that from the start of the college football season to the end of the college football season, and I'm sure we'll see it through the bowl season as well. And so that's what makes it pretty special. And I think that's why 18 to 22-year-old kids, they love playing this game right now because it's that opportunity and that excitement about each and every game.
Do you anticipate any changes on your coaching staff this offseason?
I don't. The coaching carousel, always is going, but I think anytime you have a great program and you're having success like we've had, it certainly is something that's a byproduct of that. But I really see our staff as maybe as a tight-knit, as close a staff as I've been around since I've been here. And I think the vision and the focus of our coaching staff right now is how can we continue to take our program, to that top elite level. And I know we're excited about that opportunity to do it together.
Knowing where you sat at 8-1, and then seeing a MAC team get in the Orange Bowl, is there any sense of frustration and kind of woulda, shoulda, coulda?
Well, you look back at it, and I think what you do is you build off of that, and just how close we were, and you talk about our three losses that we lost by 7 points, and each game, and there's things that I'm sure could have done better, and as we sit back and get towards the end of the season and have a chance to really sit back and reflect, we'll evaluate that to the best way possible. But I think at the end of the day, it shows us where we are as a football program. We're really close, and we've made great strides this year. I think really in each and every phase, offensively, defensively, special teams, and I think really as a program in general, we've really made those leaps and bounds strides that will foundationally set us for years to come. And I know we're excited about that as opportunities.
You said you're a close-knit coaching staff. Have you talked to Coach Tu, knowing that he used to be a former with the NIU? What does he think about them going to the Orange Bowl?
Well, I don't know if we've directly talked so much about them in the fact of, I think it's been more of a talk amongst our staff is, just where we are as a conference and how hard, week in and week out, the challenge is in this conference to play and be extremely successful. And, I think that continues to show up and continue to be represented, especially on Bowl Selection Sunday when all those teams were getting selected in the bowl games.
What do you think that atmosphere is going to be like in Boise? Obviously, you guys were there 2 years ago. It's kind of a unique stadium, obviously, not just the turf, but even the stadium and the city. I mean, how excited are you just to be able to get to spend a week out there with your guys?
Yeah, we're really excited. I think, one of the things that makes us so excited is you turn on the game from last year where Utah State plays OU, and you see almost a sold-out crowd. And, I think that's what makes it exciting. It's a city where football's really important. There's a university there where their football program and what they do is extremely important. And I think they've really rallied around this bowl game to make it one of the most unique and really one of the most special bowl games across the country. And, all the feedback we've gotten from all the Mid-American Conference teams that have been out there has just been rave review about the experience, the opportunity to see Boise as a city in itself, and then the opportunity to play a game in front of a sold-out crowd. And I think that's something that's real important for our kids. And then you throw the Utah State piece of the puzzle on top of that, and the crowd and the excitement I'm sure that'll be around their program. It'll be a great environment, and I think that's what you're looking for anytime you go play a college football game.
This is pretty much been a year since you've taken over the program.
Sure.
If you really look back at it, you would probably accomplish more in a year than maybe 80% of Division I coaches would have experienced in their whole career. Have you taken a chance to reflect? What are some things that you would do differently?
Yeah, I think that's something where that will really take hold once we get this game done with. I think as you sit and you evaluate the season anymore, that season gets over and you're instantly jumping into the recruiting process. But, one of the nice things for us is we'll be done the 15th. Recruiting goes to a dead period, and we got about 2.5 weeks where we really can sit down and evaluate our program. And I think that's something that'll be good for me. It'll be good for our staff, and to see, exactly where are we, what have we done really well, and, where can we continue to make areas of improvement as we continue to build our program and build, what we're really at the end of the day trying to build, and that's to be as good as we're possibly have the ability to possibly be. And so I'm real proud of what we've done. I'm proud of what our seniors have done. I'm proud of what our coaching staff's done. I think from an attitude and effort standpoint, we have truly reached our full potential as a football team and a football program this year.
Going back to recruiting, I think in the summer you said the class would be about 18, 19. Is that still the number you're shooting for?
Yeah, we're kind of in that area, Ryan, 18, 19, maybe even up to 20. But I think a lot of that will just depend as we continue to go here and see some of it. Of course, TJ is still out there with our appeal right now to the NCAA. Ben Pike would have the potential to play a 5th year, but it looks more than likely he's going to graduate due to his experience in that unique situation. So, we're going to make sure we dot all our I's and cross all our T's before we, maybe would reach out and potentially offer some more scholarships. But, we're kind of right in that gray area there. There's still a couple things hanging out there that maybe could change that number one way or another. But I know for us that this recruiting class is really important, and it's kind of nice to have that 18, 19 number for us this year, where it's not 25, 26 guys that we've signed in the past.
From an on-the-field standpoint, would you consider this season a success?
Oh, there's no question. I think with what this football team has gone through, I think some of the challenges that it faced, and believe me, I'll sit here and say every football team across the country faces different challenges. But I think our depth really got challenged throughout this season, and the what I saw and the young men that we saw play and really how we played with great attitude and effort, I'm really proud of those things, and I'm proud of what we accomplished. And at the end of the day, are we exactly where we want to be? No. We still want to be playing in that MAC championship game, and we want to win a MAC championship. But for this team and how this season went, I'm really proud of what they've accomplished and the success they had, because I think if anybody would have said with some of the injuries that we had that you would have been sitting at 9-3 at the end of the season, I don't know if that would have been the case. Or it's a first-year head football coach, it's a brand new staff, and all those kind of things. So I think there's a lot of different challenges out there and a lot of things that we overcame, and I'm really proud of our ability to do that. And again, I think it set a great foundation for us moving forward, and that again is why this football game coming up on the 15th will be so important to not only our football program now, but our football program in the future. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you.